Good morning, welcome to Exploring the Car with host Rock Castaldo. And Friday was a pretty good show. I had Misha Johnston on my show. And this morning actually I'm starting a new position at my job. I got a position where I'm going to be part supervisor kind of, and part worker, and almost like assistant to my boss, you know, and a little bit more money, a lot more responsibility, and more hours. So I've been working towards the position for like over a year, 2 years. I've been trying to get the position, so we'll see what happens. It should be really good. And this morning, I want to try to continue this this evening if I can when I get home. Basically, we could call this video the Ancient Persian Empire and the history of the Giants. And you know, according to my Persian research and to Persian traditions, there were two different nations of races in Persia, which most people say all remnants or history is completely extinct now. And I feel that technology was so advanced at one time during these ancient times that they knew there could have been a possibility of extinction, and they would never not leave a trace or preservation of their, you know, knowledge and acquisition of territory and power and who they were, because they were a proud people as well. And basically, I don't know if anybody's heard of Kafaristan or the mountains of Kaf, but this is a really mysterious area. And from my research, I've come to find out that according to ancient Persian history, there was a giant called Argeak, Argeak, and this giant was supposed to have built a gallery upon this mountain. And supposedly in this gallery, this ancient giant, Argeak, I hope I'm not totally butchering the name, but he was supposed to have statues of these ancient men like himself, in exact form and you know, structure that they were in. And even technologies and different scenery from the time was preserved in this gallery. And they called, you know, these great ones the Solomons, you know, or wise kings of the East. And they counted 72 kings of that name. You know, there were 72 of them with that name, and 3 among them reigned for over 1,000 years each. Okay, so this is amazing, because not only are we larger in stature in ancient Persia, but we're living thousands of years, similar to, you know, Methuselah, people like this in the Bible who lived 600, 900,000 of years, you know. And it's said that Siamek, who was the beloved son of Adam, their first king, he was murdered by his giant brother, who was another monstrous giant. And the father, when he was killed, they built this perpetual lasting fire on his tomb. And in inside of it was his cremated ashes. And this, they think, some Asians think that this is where fire worship came from as well. And after that, so that was the first king. The second king was Huschenk. I think I'm pronouncing these words right. And he was called the Prudent and the Wise. And his dynasty was the ones who rediscovered precious stones, metals, and they said that in the deep inner earth, in the depths of the earth, that these precious stones have been concealed, and some of these giants have been preserved, okay? And this is what my visions, I think, are seeing. And I think I've even, possibly seen one of the offspring or one of these kings. And Huschenk also was given, it was known in ancient Persia to had written the work called Eternal Wisdom, and even building the cities of Luz, Babylon, and Isfahan. And those cities were built many, many ages later. So it's interesting. All these cities nowadays are built upon the ancient cities, so it's right underneath. And this Huschenk, I think that's how I'm pronouncing his name was right. He is credited with having made war against the giants on this 12-legged horse. And the horse actually was said to have been the result of a birth between a crocodile and a female hippopotamus. Gave birth to this 12-legged horse. So if you want to analyze that with an ancient reptilian, with an ancient water-bound mammal, basically a hippopotamus is a friggin' dinosaur, and so is a crocodile. And so this is really interesting stuff. And it was said that no giants could withstand this guy's tremendous power. And he was like the king of kings, and he was eventually killed by an enormous rock that was thrown at him from giants from the great mountains of Damavend. And when I continue this video blog, I'm going to get into who the third king of Persia was, and who Tamarath, I think they called him, which the Saint George of Iran, or the knight who was most famous for killing a dragon. And he's the mortal enemy of Devs, who was said to have lived in the Kaf mountains. So ancient Persia is even where it's said that my lineage, that we get it from the Etruscans, and the Etruscans always have said that they got their info and ancient star knowledge from the Persians. So I'm gonna say, spiral out.